Good morning, class 10A. This is Miss Seshu. Today we have a new topic, organisms and their environment. References are in the course book, page 264, 265, 267. Have a look in this picture. We haven't seen such type of animals, but these type of animals we had nearly 250 million years ago on our Earth. We know something about the animals that lived the in certain time because we have found their fossils. And also we know that there were herbivores that ate vegetation and carnivores that fed on the herbivores. But we haven't seen such type of animals. And also we don't know how they feed and how they live. So according to the pattern of teeth of that fossil, we are going to decide is it herbivore or carnivore. If an animal has broad, flat teeth with ridges on them, this suggests it was adapted to feed on plants. If its teeth were pointed and sharp, this suggests it killed and ate other animals. Like that, we are able to know about these animals, about understanding their teeth patterns and also by the fossil study. So the subtopic ecology. The keywords we are going to look for today: ecology, habitat, population, community, ecosystem. So what means ecology? The study of interaction between living organisms and their environment is called ecology. That means animals and plants do not live in complete isolation. They are affected by their surroundings or environment. Their environment is also affected by them. So that means the study of interaction between the living organisms and their environment is called ecology. And also we have many words uh, used in ecology with which it is useful to be familiar. So the next one is habitat. What means habitat? This we know already in the previous classes. The area where an organism lives is called its habitat. For example, fish water is the fish habitat because the organism where it lives in the place that is called as habitat. For example, monkey's habitat is on trees and elephant habitat is on land. So, is that clear for the habitat word? Next, population. The habitat of a tadpole might be a pond. Okay, there will be probably be many tadpoles in the pond, forming a population of tadpoles. That means what? A population is a group of organisms of the same species living in the same area. For example, we have more population in our country. That means what? The human beings are all related to the same species living in some areas is called a population. A group of people is called population. The next one is community. As I told you, the tadpole in the pond for the population, but only the tadpole you will find in the pond? No. You will see more types of animals and plants also in the pond. So that means for the pond example, tadpole will not be only organism living in the pond. There will be many other kinds of animals and plants making up the pond community. Similarly, as I told you, the people living in such a place is called a population. For example, not only our family is living all over the country. Many different kinds of people are living in a country or as well as in the world. So that is called different communities we can see in the areas. The next one is ecosystem. The last one is ecosystem. The living organisms in the pond, the water in it, the stones and the mud at the bottom make up an ecosystem. An ecosystem consists of a community and its environment. So in the ecosystem, each and every living organism has its own life to live and role to play. The way in which an organism lives in its life is in an ecosystem is called niche. We say that the word is called niche. So just look for the picture ecosystem. This is the ecosystem of a pond. Here you can see the frog, fish, snail, water weeds, flies and tadpoles. A system made up of an ecological community of living things interacting with their environment, especially under natural conditions. So here you can see all the living things are playing its own role. But for all these organisms, only the source of energy is given by the sun. This is another example for ecosystem, which is a river ecosystem. Here you can see all types of such types of animals and birds also leading their life. So moving on to the next subtopic, energy flow. By this picture you can understand the sun giving its energy, that is called solar energy. The solar energy is taken by the plants to make their food by themselves by a process called photosynthesis. The leaves will absorb the solar energy and transforming it into chemical energy. We can say that leaves are natural solar panels. Here, what the chemical energy is prepared by the plant is taken by the grasshopper and also by the frog and finally by the bird also. Like this, the energy is flowing through one organism to another organism. Plant is eaten by grasshopper is and the grasshopper is eaten by the frog and frog is eaten by the bird. Stored chemical energy is transferred from plant to the grasshopper and grasshopper to the frog, from the frog to the bird, enabling each in turn to function as a living organism. So by this sequence we have understood that by which energy in the form of chemical energy in food passes from a plant to an animal and then to other animals is called a food chain. Like this. The energy which has been prepared by the plants is transferred to the other animals and again in a chain form it will be coming to again for the plants. Let us see how the food chain is going on. The grasshoppers eat plants. Here you can see the grasshopper eats plants. The plants are eaten by the grasshopper and the grasshopper is eaten by the rat and again rat is eaten by the snake and the snakes are eaten by the vultures and eagles. So here for the 2 point you see here. The mice eat the grasshoppers, the snake eat the mice, the eagles eat the snake, and when the hats die, fungi breaks the bodies down and turns into nutrients. When the final animal or a bird, when it dies, it will be decomposed by the fungus. They are called decomposers. We will talk this topic in the later classes. Okay. So when they die, it will be again going to the plants. How the nutrients along with the sun and water cause the grass to grow. So like this manner the food chain is occurring. In the environment you can see not only these type of animals and birds. We have many types of animals and birds, and also we have many food chains. So many different food chains link to form a food web. So here you can see the energy from the sun is taken by the plant, and plants are eaten by the grasshoppers or the caterpillars, and these are eaten by the birds and again by the eagles. Finally, these are all eaten by the decomposers. So by this you can say the plants are the primary producers, and which are eaten which are feeding on the plants, they are called primary consumers. We can call them also as herbivores. And then we can see this one is as secondary consumers, they are carnivores. The living things which are feeding on the animals are called carnivores. And also the final bird here is hack, known as tertiary consumers. That is the fourth trophic level, we can say, top carnivores. So by looking for the trophic levels, the first trophic level, that means each organism, each living thing comes under each trophic level. The primary producers, that means plants, coming under the first trophic level, and the second trophic level are the primary consumers, third trophic level are the secondary consumers, fourth trophic levels are the tertiary consumers. So as I told you, many different food chains link to form a food web like this. Here you can see different types of food chains. First, the grass is eaten by the mice, and then the mice is eaten by the hack. So this is a one food chain, and again this eaten by the fox. So same like that you can see here four types of food chains. So altogether we say food web. See for the next example of food chain here. Many food chains are together link up to form a food web. In all the food chains, you can see the primary the producers are the green plants, because they are the one living things. They can prepare their own food by themselves by taking sun, and also by the water and carbon dioxide by the process called photosynthesis. That is the reason we say all the green plants are the primary producers in the food chain. So here you can see components of a food chain. So here the solar energy is taken by the producers, and these producers are taken by the primary consumers, and then secondary consumers, finally tertiary consumers. So here you can see plants are eaten by the grass eating animals, and these are eaten by the meat eating animals. That means produces are given to the consumers, that means primary consumers, they are herbivores. And here the herbivores are eaten by the consumers, secondary consumers. Those are called as carnivores. So for in each and every food chain, if we count the number of organisms at different positions in a food chain, we usually find that there are more plants than animals and more herbivores than carnivores. We can show this by drawing